and the 2021 World Series champion, San Diego Padres? What's going on, baseball fans? My name is Jeremy Laracuente, once again back at it here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast, your home for the latest news, notes, and my personal opinions on the game of Major League Baseball. And today, as you can tell, we are going to be discussing the San Diego Padres. They have been the only team to make any kind of moves this offseason of relevance. So let's get into what it is and what my thoughts are on those moves. Okay, so first and foremost, we have to discuss the last several years for the San Diego Padres. We know that they were, for a long time, the cellar dwellers for the National League West Division. However, the last several years, they've made quite a few hefty investments in free agency, bringing in Eric Hosmer, most notably Manny Machado with a $300 million deal. And we thought that the Padres were absolutely crazy when they signed both of those players. Now, fast forward, here we are the offseason following the shortened 2020 season, and the Padres are once again going on a spending spree of sorts, this time via trade. And it honestly was a surprising move, thinking about the fact that the Tampa Bay Rays and the Chicago Cubs, two teams that pretty annually are in the postseason, or at least in the postseason hunt, to trade away significant pieces. So let's break it down. First and foremost, the Tampa Bay Rays were just in the World Series and just lost to the Los Angeles Dodgers. And they would trade away arguably their best starter. Is a debate between he and Tyler Glasnow, but they trade away left-hander Blake Snell to the San Diego Padres. And while the return does feature a top prospect and name, Luis Patino, we don't necessarily know how that trade is really going to work out. Now, I will say this as a Yankee fan watching Tampa Bay year in and year out, I don't bet against them. If there was something that allowed them and they saw coming from Patino that really solidified this move and made them trade Blake Snell for him, I think that he's likely going to turn out to do pretty well. But that being said, as far as the 2021 season, I do believe that it actually weakens the team. I made a video about the New York Yankees and how it's their time to shine. I will leave links to that down in the show notes below, as well as up in the YouTube card. But when you look at what this does for the San Diego Padres, it gives them a legitimate number one at the top of their rotation. They were going in with some young guys, going in with guys like Lamet, Paddock, as well as one of their top prospects, Mackenzie Gore, arguably the top prospect for the San Diego Padres. And the fact that they were able to make this deal without giving up the top of the farm system really signifies how well the Padres have done in rebuilding their franchise from the bottom up. But they wouldn't stop there. They would also go and make a deal with the Chicago Cubs to bring in Darvish and backup catcher Victor Caratini. Now, to me, Caratini was somewhat of a throw-in here. The big deal was Darvish and the money attached to his contract. Why the Cubs would make a move like this, I honestly believe that it's just financial. But when you look at what this now does on top of the Blake Snell move for the San Diego Padres, now you have a dynamic 1-2 lefty-righty punch at the top, and that allows you to take your starters that likely would have been thrust into a more prominent position, especially coming after a postseason appearance. Now you can kind of push them to the back end of the rotation and allow them more time to develop and to grow. And the Padres, for good measure, would also add to their infield depth with a player from the KBO, Ha-seong. I know I completely butchered that, but a infielder that is likely going to play second base for them, allowing them to use their super utility man, Jake Cronenworth, and use him in left field. However, the Padres still aren't done. There's a lot of talks and rumors with them looking to reunite with reliever Kirby Yates, who had a great year, as well as Jurickson Profar, another super utility type. And while a lot of pieces were moved in both of these deals, I don't think that the Padres farm system really was significantly hurt. They still maintained most of their top prospects in both of these trade opportunities for Darvish and for Blake Snell. So now looking at the Padres roster, you have names like the aforementioned Manny Machado, Eric Hosmer, Will Myers, Jake Cronenworth, an underrated catcher in my opinion in Austin Nola. You add in the level of veteran leadership and downright pitching ability of Blake Snell and Darvish to headline the front of that young rotation. And then, of course, you have one of the most dynamic superstars in all of Major League Baseball in Fernando Tatis Jr. And in my opinion, this really significantly improves the Padres' chances at competing and battling with the Dodgers at the top of that division. Now, let's be very clear. The Dodgers are a powerhouse. So even with all these moves, I don't necessarily think that the Padres will overcome the Dodgers and dethrone the Dodgers at the top of that division. However, I do think this significantly improves their chances once they reach the postseason. We don't know what the postseason necessarily will look like going into 2021 after a change in the postseason for the shortened 2020 campaign. But if we go back to a regular style, I can very easily see the Padres being that first wild card winner and hosting that game, and then going on and facing the Dodgers and giving them a legitimate threat. But I need to know from you guys. Let me know down in the comment section below, what do you guys believe these moves do for the San Diego Padres? Do they make them better than the Dodgers? Do they make them the top of the wild card? Do they make them the second, third, fourth best team? Or do these moves do absolutely nothing for the Padres, and they're going to be what they were last year, a very good team that ultimately falters? I want to know from you guys down in the comment section below. As always, if you have any suggestions that you want us to cover here on the Laracuente Ledger Network, make sure you leave that down there as well. If there's a specific team or a player that you want to hear me cover here on the Baseball Banter Broadcast, you can leave those notes down there as well. The 2020-2021 offseason has been rather slow, so without the San Diego Padres, there wouldn't be a whole lot to discuss other than speculation of sorts. So we definitely have to give a big shout out to the Padres for actually making some moves this offseason. Now, with that being said, speaking of moves being made, we here at the Laracuente Ledger Network are looking to bring you more content this year. So if there are suggestions that you would like to have us cover, whether it be shows, topics, anything of that nature, let us know. You can reach out by emailing us at ledgernation@laracuenteledger.com with those thoughts, theories, and suggestions. And if you want to show your support for us here at the Laracuente Ledger Network, then you can do so very easily by hitting that subscribe button down below and that little bell to stay notified of every time we drop new content here. And if you can, hit that like button as well. It does a huge service for us here at the Laracuente Ledger Network. We have some new ideas and new shows coming for you this year, so make sure you keep it locked in. And we'll keep it locked in on the Padres to see if there's anything else that they do this offseason. But I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.